Welcome to the How to Farm series. My name is Cole the Cornstar. I am a 26-year-old farmer who farms 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans. Over the next year, I will be documenting everything that happens on Cornstar farms in an effort to show what it takes to feed the world. If you wish to start the series from the beginning, watch my How to Farm playlist. In the last episode, with meteorologists predicting storms that were going to push us out of the fields for a week, my dad planted soybeans as fast as he could, I ran the sprayer, Roman picked up rocks, Zach borrowed our neighbor Ryan's tillage tractor, Ron the bulldozer guy continued working on the Hanson farm, and my brother, Cooper, discovered our Case IH Magnum 340 had a ruined engine. Up to this point, we are 37% done with soybean planting, 45% done spraying soybeans, and 55% done with tillage. As of today, when it comes to broken equipment, our Case Magnum 340 is waiting on a new engine, and the Massey Ferguson 4880 is waiting on a new rear main engine seal. On the soybean side of things, we have 630 acres that need to be planted and 550 acres that need to be sprayed. When it comes to corn, we have 1,000 acres of corn that need to be planted and 1,000 acres of corn that need to be sprayed. And then last but not least, when it comes to tillage, we have 900 acres of corn and soybean ground to do. In today's episode, we will finish all our tillage, planting, and spraying. At the start of today, our season expenses so far are $921,080, and the farm has not produced any income yet. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of this series. Thank you for tuning in for the day, so let's get started. Good morning! Last night, we had 2.5 inches of rain, or in other words, 140 million gallons of water fell from the sky across our entire farm. Looking at our 10-day forecast, they are predicting another 1.25 inches of rain coming here later this week, or another 70 million gallons of water falling across our farm. So we went from really dry to all of a sudden we are getting some moisture. And honestly, looking at our extended forecast, this is reminding me a lot of 2018. In the farming world, we make a lot of decisions that are extremely forward-thinking. So we make investments into things today that we may not see the benefit out of for 5 years, 10, or maybe even 15 years down the road. And I think that this year may just be one of those cases. So in order for us to understand a decision we made a long time ago, we need to go back to 2018. In 2018, the weather turned straight from winter time into spring, and everybody jumped into the field right away, and we got 500 acres planted, and then all of a sudden the rain turned on, and it did not turn off until a month later. So once the rain stopped, we got back out into the field, got everything planted, and everything was fine until we got to harvest. That 500 acres that we planted before our month of rain did anywhere from 50 to 80 bushels better than the stuff we planted after the month of rain. So in other words, we lost anywhere between $200 and $320 per acre in opportunity cost solely because it took us an extra time to plant because we didn't get done before the rain. So when we were sitting there evaluating this $200 to $320 per acre loss across 1,500 acres, or in other words, north of $200,000 in opportunity income that we didn't get, we had to make a few decisions. And that was when we decided, you know what, we need to get a second planter, because if we would have had a second planter, we would have been able to capture all of this extra revenue. And honestly, that extra revenue would have paid for the entire tractor and half of the planter in 1 year. So that is when we decided we were going to pull the trigger and buy our Case IH Magnum 340 and our 24-row planter. So I say that this year reminds me of 2018 because we got started in the field nice and early, people were running, and then all of a sudden the rain's turning on. And looking at our extended forecast, we have a day of rain, 2 days of dry, rain, 2 days of dry, rain, 2 days of dry. So if that continues, then it could potentially drag an extended planting planting season out, and then that would bring us to where we were in 2018. But for us this time, we now have 2 planters, so as long as we have 3 days of good weather and good soil conditions, we can get all of our planting done. But like I said, last night we got 2.5 inches of rain, so it is too wet for us to be out in the field right now, so I'm going to go work in the house, and Zach, Cooper, and Dad are going to do some odds and ends stuff around the farm, so I will check in with updates with them, and once the weather gets nice enough, we will start planting. Welcome to the next day. It is too wet outside and too windy to do anything in the field, so I'm going to continue working in my house. It is now 2 days later. It is still just a little bit too wet for us to get out into the field, but I think Zach and Cooper are going to try to build a new driveway over at the farm that we call Winona's.
We got a fire to put out. Zach just called me and he said that he needs an angle grinder to cut out few bolts that attach something to something, and he's doing the dirt work at one of the further farms here from the main heated shop. So I got him an angle grinder, a battery, and need to deliver it to him as soon as possible. So let's go do that. I'm happy I'm driving my Jeep so I can get in.
Got them off-road shocks on this?
Yeah. What's the plan after you get this done?
I gotta go hook onto that reel disc again and go back and keep working some ground that we ripped last fall. Try to get ahead of the planter again. Had a few days of non-field work because we got 2.5 inches of rain there in a day and a half or so, 2 days. Much needed. Came down pretty fast though. Those first 2 inches came in about 2 hours, I think. So a lot of fields around here showing a little bit of washout when it comes down that fast. But what do you do?
Keep at it.
I don't think we got any areas that we need to touch up, but there's some areas that definitely try to wash a little bit. That ain't going nowhere.
No. Except that it doesn't like this spots, but
I rounded it off with my file. It'll be fine.
So just like that, as world progresses, everything else gets more efficient, sometimes bigger, or most of the time bigger. So back in the day, this little driveway would have been just fine, but as the farm gets bigger, equipment gets bigger, it wasn't just quite enough. So this driveway needed to be widened for the safety, for ease of use, and here we are now with 4 times wider driveway that's gonna make the life much easier.
Hello, it is I, Cole, now 3 days older. The rain has subsided, the wind has died down. I think it is time to go get out in the field. We are going to get done planting, we are going to get done spraying, and we are going to get done with tillage, as long as everything goes well. And I do have a little update about the broken tractors. Scott, our neighbor, who is also our mechanic, came and looked at the Massey Ferguson 4880 that had a rear main engine seal leaking. He basically said, well, good luck finding a part for that. And so Zach and Cooper found a part that would kind of work, and then they did a little bit of fabricating and they stuck it on there. So they are hoping that that is going to be able to hold. So that's the status with the Massey Ferguson 4880. Then they got everything put back together, so now that is up and running. And then Case IH came and looked at the 340 that had coolant in the engine oil, and the guys said, well, I've seen a lot worse before, but the damage is done. A lot of guys just continue to run them for the rest of the season. This is going to need to be fixed, but everything's going to be getting replaced. So if you heard anything more, it's not really the end of the world because it's going to be getting replaced anyway. So we changed the oil in the 340 and Cooper hooked it up to the planter, and he actually planted 45 acres of corn. He got campground done. I am sitting in the truck right now at Mary Lou's. He already got the north side of Mary Lou's planted this morning, and now he's on the south side of Mary Lou's. And then Dad, he got started in the planter. He finished out at Grandpa's farm, and he has started to plant on Uncle Orland's farm right now. So I have been running around this morning with my head absolutely cut off, but now I'm back and we're in the field. And also, before I forget, during these last 6 days, Cooper, Zach, and Dad have been still working on stuff in the shop. They've been getting equipment ready. They found a couple broken things in Dad's planter, but they put in 96 man hours, so we have $1,920 worth of labor expense that we need to add to our total expenses. And I apologize for not participating in what we were doing in the shop, getting everything ready, and with meeting with Scott and the Case guys, but I have off-farm businesses that I'm still taking care of, so I have been holed up in the office for the last 6 days, and I actually just got out of the office like an hour ago. So it feels really good to be outside. 35 mile an hour winds welcomed me, which is what we are having for wind today. A high of 68 degrees. The entire rest of the week, they're talking 60s or 70s. It is going to be absolutely beautiful. And today is Tuesday. On Friday, there's a 70% chance of 1.5 inches of rain coming. So we are going to try to get absolutely as much soybeans and as much corn planted as we can. Dad is 100% caught up to me in the sprayer, so everything that I've sprayed, Dad has already planted, and he is now actually starting to plant some fields that I have not sprayed. Zach is completely sitting at a standstill right now when it comes to working up ground. All of the ground that we have worked up, Dad is in the last worked up field, so hopefully this afternoon the ground just dries out a little bit more, then Zach will be able to start real disking in the Massey Ferguson that they just got fixed. And then Cooper is planting, and he's just going to keep running his planter absolutely as long as we can. So I guess I'm going to be just trying to keep ahead of Dad for the rest of the day, but I'm going to fill Cooper with some seed here in a second, and then we will get on with our day trying to get some more stuff done, trying to keep ahead of Dad.
I'm pulling into a different field down here. I'm at my Uncle Orland's, going to get set up and fill up with seed, and then hopefully get some planted down here. Just trying to figure out how I should unfold in this field. Sometimes you gotta think your situations out so you don't get in a predicament that's hard to get out of. Now I'm thinking pickles.
It is springtime. Everybody is out. Literally every field we drove by, someone was either spraying, planting, or doing some sort of field work. So it is full scope. Everybody's trying to beat this coming rain. And for those of you who are spraying today, I don't know how you're doing it because it's like 30 mile an hour winds. So when you spray something, if you want it right here, it's ending up way over there, but I digress. Zach's gonna get started here real disking in the Massey Ferguson 4880. They got the rear main engine seal all fixed up on this. So we're gonna get everything hooked up, and then he is going to go to Zach's farm, and it's funny, it's Zach's, that's his family's farm, and it's right by his house, and that's the Zach we're talking about.
Hasta luego, Zach!
Now it may be too windy for us to spray today, but that doesn't mean that I can't get everything ready, so that way in the morning right away when it's not too windy to spray, I'll be fully ready to go spray. So right now we have the sprayer trailer completely empty of water. I have 5,000 gallons of water sitting in the tank in the back, so I'm gonna get this pumped up and get this full so it is ready to go. You know, one nice thing about it being really windy is when you have these green gloves on and your hand gets super sweaty on the inside, when you pull it out, the wind dries it off nicely, so it makes it a lot easier to put your glove back on later. We have water in this one. You can see the line right there, so we're probably at 4,000 gallons or so. So we're gonna hook up this black hose, hook it right up to that, and then we have the back tank open, so this is plumbed to the back tank. We'll fill that one up. Actually, we'll open the front one first, close the back one. We'll fill the front one first. That'll hold 2,600 gallons, and then we'll shut it. We'll open the back one, and then we'll fill that one, or that's the plan. We're gonna let our pump warm up for just a minute, and then go full throttle, and then this thing will pump like 370 gallons a minute, so it won't take very long. Just went and hooked up my hose, got everything hooked up there, and my pump stopped. So either I'm out of fuel, or something really bad happened, or it just shut off. Let's hopefully it just shut off. Well, I got 2,000 gallons out. See, this is why we do stuff the night before. Pays to be early. If that's out of fuel, the other pumps are probably pretty close to being out of fuel too. I think Cooper has our big 5-gallon gas jugs at his house, so I'm gonna go get that. And while I'm on the way to go get that, I'm also going to get lunch for everybody, so that way they can eat lunch, staying in their tractor, and they can keep planting. So we're gonna have to come back to this. We have a little bit of errands to run.
Bienvenidos al supermercado.
Pedimos sandwiches! Dad must be hungry because he's making a special trip across the field when he saw me pull up. Usually you get a, hey, set it on the seat of the pickup, I'll grab it when I go up to fill. So he must be hungry. Dad has a little bit more seed in here yet, but the Pro boxes are getting pretty low, so we're just gonna empty these out so that way I can go up, get new seed loaded up. Dad will have enough seed then to finish the rest of this field, and then we can get everything positioned to go to the next one. But I'm gonna leave you guys in here, and oh, there is better sunglasses in here, sweet. All the other ones I could find this morning were dirty. But I'm gonna leave you guys in here because you will blow away if you are outside. All right, we'll be back once we get the planter full. Unfortunately, our seed tender ran empty before we got the planter full. Luckily, I'm about 3/4 of a mile away from home, and I'm gonna run to the big machine shed, grab a new box of seed. We'll bring that back down to Dad quick, so he's gonna eat his lunch while I am loading up some new seed. So both of these are now empty. We're gonna pull these off. We put all our empty ones over there. So the ones on the other side of the truck, those are all our empties, and so we'll basically end up filling this whole side by the time we get through everything that is over here. Most of these over there are beans, and most of these ones are corn. One box of corn will do like 110 acres, and one box of beans does like 60 acres. So we basically have twice as many bean ones as we do corn. So we're gonna want this box, and right here we have a pallet full of bags with Champion soybeans. These are 2.7s. It's 35-mile-an-hour winds. I'm not dealing with bags right now, so we're gonna see if we can find another box. Actually, I have an idea. We're gonna be putting 2 9s on Uncle Orland's farm, and then when Dad gets done there, he is going to be going to the next farm. So there's still going to be 2 9s in the planter. I don't want to put a 2 9 with a 2 6 in the same field because the 2 6 will be ready probably a week before the 2 9 will. Therefore, I would like to put our 2 7s with the 2 9s. And so those are in the bags. We have empty things here. I'm just gonna load up one, go down, fill Dad, he'll be full, we'll have an empty tote, then I can use the bags, I can dump them in the tote here in the shed, out of the wind, and then they will be in a tote, then we won't have to deal with the bags out in the field. Yeah, that's the plan. Let's see what we can get done. Okay, back one is now empty, front one's full. That's gonna take care of Dad. We took the empty one that was on the front, that is sitting here. I'm going to load those bags up into this, then we won't have the individual bags anymore. We'll just rip a label off, we'll stick it inside there, and then it will be just like we have a brand new Pro box straight from Champion Seed, already full of seed. Oh, ooh, this field is soft. So the reason why the soybeans are red is because they have a seed treatment on them. So we have the VIP seed treatment from Champion Seed, and so that's gonna have a fungicide, an insecticide, an inoculant. There's several different modes of actions on there. There's several things. I don't know what it all is, but I know those 3 things are in it for sure. There may be multiple of those 3 things in there. But that is going to give us the best chances possible in the ground not to get a disease, not to get eaten by a bug, and for the inoculant is gonna come into play because it's going to help the plant fixate nitrogen out of the soil, and soybeans use a ton of nitrogen, so the more nitrogen they can produce themselves, the better. I got Dad full, and he's a little bit bummed out because last year we had Ron the bulldozer guy come into this farm and reshape all of the waterways. Uncle Orland's farm used to be 5 different fields in one, and when we got the waterways reshaped, we could now plant through everything nicely, and then you basically just make a big picture frame around the outside, and then you plant back and forth. We have a plugged tile right in the center of the main waterway, so the entire bottom half of the farm in the waterway is wet. Dad cannot pass through that because he will either get stuck or he's gonna rut it up and ruin the waterway. So he has to go back to planting half of the field in little tiny pieces again, which is a little bit frustrating, but we have a plug tile and we need to get it fixed. Actually, I think we need to get the tile replaced because I think we have newer plastic mixed with the old clay, and the old clay is what's giving us fits. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to run in some brand new strings, and then that'll take care of the water. Then we'll be able to get the waterway fixed up again. But for this year, we're just gonna have it in little fields again, I guess. Not bad. Good job, Cole. Nice execution. Semi is now full of water. We will be able to pull up to it with the sprayer where it's sitting right now, and we will be able to start spraying once this wind dies down. I don't know if it's supposed to die down tonight or if it's gonna be tomorrow. Whichever comes first is when we're gonna do it, but it's ready to go. Cooper gave me a call and he said, hey, I'm out of seed. And I just realized I forgot something at the main heated shop. Let me come back to this story in a second. As I was saying, Cooper called because he is out of seed. I made a little mistake. The seed tender that Roman brought out to Mary Lou's this morning, I had some partially full Pro boxes on the inside of it. I knew they were partials because we had some overrun from last year. I accidentally ordered too much seed last year, and so they were like half full. What I didn't realize is the one literally had like 4 bags worth of seed in the bottom, and the last one that Cooper used was the one with 4 bags. So the seed tender is completely empty. Mary Lou's is 20 minutes away from here. So by the time I get there, 20 minutes, drive the seed tender back, 20 minutes, unload the seed tender, load the seed tender, that's probably another 40 minutes, maybe an hour if things don't go so smoothly. So Cooper's probably gonna be sitting for minimum 90 minutes if I don't bring these white buckets where we have some extra seed also from last year. That's probably enough for maybe 20 acres worth, so Cooper can at least keep the planter going. He's gonna go in some of the shorter areas of the fields, so while I go reload the seed tender, he can keep planting, and then we will come back with full boxes, and then we'll get him loaded up, and he'll be able to keep going. But I almost forgot to grab this seed, so that's why I had to come down here to get. Don't wanna spill this, because one of these buckets is approximately $300 worth of seed. So right here, 600 bucks, loaded just like that. Just like how the soybeans were colored, corn's the exact same way. This corn is green because it has a green seed treatment on it, and then this corn right here is red because it's got red seed treatment on it. So red and purple and green and purple, they're just different treatments. They cover different types of diseases, different types of bugs. One may have a little bit more coverage than the other. I'm honestly not sure what's what here, but I know the green one is one type of seed and the red one is another type of seed. So we're gonna put green in one side of the planter, red in the other. There's Cooper. Cooper is going to have an empty planter in about 20 minutes. So we are going to boogie as fast as we can to get him new seed. And I also think Dad's seed tender is now empty as well. So, I don't know, somebody's gonna have to figure it out. I think we're gonna have to make Dad figure it out. Looks like Dad got done at Uncle Orland's and we are just rolling in, so we're gonna pull up to the big machine shed, get loaded up with some new seed and head back to Coop. So we have a slight change of plans. We have 2 different types of corn hybrids, not numbers. We have several different types of numbers, but there are defensive corn hybrids and there are offensive corn hybrids. A defensive corn hybrid is more bred to be in something with maybe a little bit more clay in the soil or a little bit more sand. A field that is going to be a little bit more trying and a little bit more variance throughout, a defensive hybrid is going to be a better fit. So typically hillsides, hilltops, terraces, defensive hybrids, what we're looking for. But then we get into fields, say like tabletop, where the black soil is 6 feet deep and there is not a lot of variance in the soil. It's just deep, fertile, black soil. We'd want to put offensive hybrid there because that is going to excel there a little bit more. We have mostly offensive hybrids sitting in here right now. I have a pallet of bags with some defensive hybrids in it, and I have one Pro Box sitting up there with a defensive hybrid in it. The one that's sitting on top, I'm not gonna mess with the bags right now, so we're just gonna load up the Pro Box, and that will get Cooper done in the field that he's in right now, and it will allow him to get some done in the next field, which it sounds like he's going to be quitting once he gets done at Mary Lou's anyway, so we'll be able to bring the bags out in the morning when the wind is calm and be able to fill him then. We don't want to deal with bags when it's windy. So now we only have to unload one and load one, so that's good news. This is gonna be faster for us. guys, I haven't had the opportunity to introduce the 24-row planter yet. It's just simply been too windy. Seems like it's starting to calm down now. So here we have the 24-row. This is a white. That's the brand name of it, is a white. We got, I believe these are 52 or 55-inch LED light bars on the back. Cooper's got 4 of them, so there's one there. There's one on each side here in the middle. And then we got one over there. For row units on the back end, we have getter, twister, cast, V press closing wheels, and then we have egg leader sure force. That's the hydraulic down force. That's the cylinder right there. And then we have the Yetter air adjust row cleaners up front. You can see the airbag cylinders right there, and then those move trash out of the way of the row. And then these also have the Ag Leader electric drives. So these are sure drives. So that's what ends up spinning the meter. You look inside the meter, you can see the corn sitting down in there. It's kind of cool. That's going to spin just like a clock, and the seeds sit in those little slots. And so it'll carry the seed all the way around, and then when it gets over to here, it'll drop it off, and then it falls down into the little furrow that the planter makes. And we got the seed storing up there in the center bulk tanks, which is what Cooper's filling right now. And then that gets pushed down these white hoses into the meter. I love planting at night. It is so cool with all the lights. We got this thing LED'd up all the way around. The 340 has a ton of LED lights on it. And then with the light bars on the back of the planter, you illuminate. It's kind of funny when you're driving down the road at night, if the planter's a couple miles away, it looks like a little city just there on the horizon, just big old glow. There's about 3,000 pounds worth of seed in this box, and so Cooper's able to monitor it right here on the scale so we can see how heavy the seed tender is. Just like that, we are back in the big machine shed. I am going to get seed loaded up for the fields that Cooper is planting tomorrow, which is, did I really just say planning on planting tomorrow, which is Wynona's. Cooper should have enough seed on him right now to finish on Mary Lou's, which is where he's at right now, and then get Wynona's done tomorrow. I'm going to get the seed that is going to go on Carol's farm, and then Cooper should also be able to get Tabletop done tomorrow. So we should be able to get 3 farms done tomorrow. Since he already has seed on him for Wynona's, I just need to load up 2 boxes, which will be for Carol's and for Tabletop. Seed tender is all ready to go for tomorrow now. Hooked up the fuel trailer. I'm gonna go out to Dad. Dad went to Zach's house. There's 40 acres there that Zach was able to work up. And then I guess the 110 acres or whatever it is across the road, that is too wet still. So Zach ended up going to the bush farm to start working. And I guess he's plugging up behind the wheels there every now and again, but it's the driest thing we have, and they're talking apparently 2 to 4 inches of rain coming in a couple days. So we're kind of limited on options a little bit. So if it's gonna run, we're gonna try to make it run. But I'm going to bring this fuel trailer out to Dad so that way he has fuel, because he's got to be getting about down there. He filled up this morning and he's done close to 140 acres today. So if he's at half a tank, we might as well top him off. Then we're not gonna have to mess with it tomorrow. And it is currently 10:30 p.m. So once we go bring this out to Dad and fill him up, I think he is going to call it a night in the bean planter. As much as I really don't care for driving around at 11:30 at night, it's kind of nice getting this done with the fuel trailer when we fill everything up before we leave for the night. So that way when we come in the morning, we can just check everything over quick and we can get going. We're not trying to get another driver out there to, hey, bring me the fuel trailer out. Well, I wanted to go do this other thing and I got to get this done first before I can get out there. And then the planters sit, or the sprayer sits, or the combine sits. So if we just kind of learned, if you get it done the night before, then you don't have to worry about fuel. It's done. Then you can just do your thing. It is 12:50 in the morning. I just got home. I got some soup. Try not to spill my soup.
16-hour day today.
Whoops, sorry about that. I fell asleep last night before I got to our daily expenses. We had 68 man hours, so we spent $1,360 on labor. That brings our total expenses for the year up to whatever this number is right here. I need to add it together. It should be in the low 900,000s. I have my notes here on what we have done as far as progress goes. So we are 70% done with soybean tillage. We have 700 out of 1,000 acres done. And then on corn tillage, we are 750 out of 1,000 done. So we're 75% done with corn, 70% done with soybeans. When it comes to spraying, I am 44% done with soybean ground. Dad is ahead of me in the planter. He has 600 acres planted. So Dad's 60% done with soybean planting. I'm 44% done with soybean spraying. So I better get in the sprayer, otherwise Dad's gonna get way ahead of me. And then when it comes to corn, we are 28% planted. We have 280 out of 1,000 acres done. For the forecast today, they are talking a high of 62 degrees with 14-mile-per-hour winds. Tomorrow they are talking extremely windy, and then the day after that they are talking over an inch of rain. So that means if I'm going to be doing any spraying, I better get it done today, because tomorrow's gonna be too windy, and the day after that's probably gonna be too windy as well, but it's definitely going to be too wet. Before we do that, we're gonna make a little road trip. I got called for tech support duties. Dad wants help changing some numbers around in his monitor, so that way we're tracking the variety of soybean that we're planting, so when we come in and harvest, the combine monitor will automatically pick up the differences. So he called me back, and then now he's leaving. You want me to change that?
Oh, it only took you 2 hours this time.
Yep, and I have a $900 bill coming his way.
Good job. Okay, we're headed to the bush farm and get that planted. We have arrived at the bush farm. It's gonna get set up here. Probably get planter full of beans. We'll see and wait for Daddy Cornstar, what he's gonna say. We're ready for some beans. He's also gonna grease it while it's all set up there in front of him, so he just can unleash himself onto this field and get it done.
A lot of work. Somebody's gotta do it.
So what it is and what are you doing it for?
It's lubricant, gryphosate. I can't say it quite right.
Graphite?
But it just makes things slippery. These seed discs down here, they go around and around all day when we're planting, and it just kind of makes a nice slippery coat in there. And it's funny, it don't take very much. Once you get started, you'll actually see it in there. It just shakes it down. And
so do you have to do it on corn?
we do on the big center fills. They always put all kinds of stuff in there to make it really slippery because it's going through all them air tubes. This you may not have to, but we still, it just kind of gives it a little extra slip.
We're gonna grease this planter real quick so Daddy Cornstar raised it up so we have a better access to our greaser. And what are we gonna be looking at is these two guys, because it's the pressure point here. So to prevent the metal wearing out, because it's metal and metal contact, it needs a lubrication to make it last longer. And well, if it lasts longer, you spend less money, and then when it runs for you, then you work faster. Bush farm. The planter is full, greased. Daddy Cornstar feels happy. He's ready to plant. We'll get him food, bring it to him, and we hope that's gonna be it to make it done today. First beans are gonna be planted here in a few minutes, or maybe even less, and I hope we also can witness the last beans being planted in this field today. It's about 120 acres field, and I have faith in Daddy Cornstar that he can do it.
With my dad getting done with the farm we call the east side of Zach's and heading down to the bush farm, once it gets to the bush farm, Dad and Roman will get the planter filled up, and then I will need to get Roman because Cooper is going to need seed in the corn planter pretty soon, and so we'll leave the seed tender with Dad with soybeans in it. Roman will run back with me. I'm on my way to get him right now, and then he will grab the corn seed tender and bring that out to Cooper to get him filled back up with seed. Having fun?
A lot of fun.
Why do I sense sarcasm in your voice?
No, it wasn't sarcasm. Why do you think so?
No, I'm just messing with you. Traditionally, running the seed tender is not the most fun job, especially when the truck's sitting there beeping at you when you're trying to back up.
To me, it's more boring to sit in the tractor all day long to yourself, by yourself, instead of running around, being busy and helping other people, talking to them too.
No, in the tractor you got the radio. If you're on nice long auto steer rows, then you can watch YouTube videos. You can practice Spanish. You can literally do anything you want when you're driving the tractor.
That's what I do.
All right, Roman, keep good care of this van.
I stocked it with candies, ice cream, and cotton candy.
I am now going to try to get some spraying done. We're gonna fire up this truck, build up some air pressure, pull the sprayer around and get started. Buenos dias, sprayer. At the moment, I am currently 160 acres behind the planter. So we have 160 acres more planted than I have sprayed. The good news is I can do 100 acres an hour, so it's not gonna take me long to get caught up.
I just left Daddy Cornstar, started planting beans on a new field. Cooper is planting corn on the very east farm, and Cole is gonna get going with spraying the fields. And of course, these boys have to be fed, so my duty next to go get food for every one of us. And then after that, I'm gonna head and fill up Cooper with some corn seed. And I'm driving this lovely van that has manual transmission. So when you do that, your hands are kind of occupied. And that was Cole that called me. He wants me to make a detour on the way back with food, so I can stop by the main heated shop and grab him a grease gun and a tube of grease, because the one most important rule that equipment has to be greased in order to operate properly and not give an extra breakdowns while operating it. Got the food. Let's head back to the farm. Make everyone happy. So I'm approaching Bush Farm here, where Daddy Cornstar is planting beans. I have his food, and Cole asked me to grab a grease gun and a tube of grease so he can grease his sprayer. So I decided, instead of going to the main heated shop, I'll just steal a grease gun and a tube of grease from the truck that's with Daddy Cornstar. That way I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. Actually, one trip, right? I already called Daddy Cornstar and told him I'll be there in 2 minutes. And he said, perfect, I'll be there in 2 minutes as well, so we'll get to see him. And look at this. Could have been better timing than we got here. Like somebody planned it. Hopefully the van is not gonna roll. It has the starter that acting up, so sometimes it will not engage or will not disengage, so I just keep it running. There should be a cell. Is it there? No. Let me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's Cole's.
Oh,
sorry.
Whenever there's black olives in there, I always know that it was probably Renee that made my food.
Oh, so look at the eyes and the nose, and
they're gonna be on the ground for the birds to eat. So Renee's doing a good job feeding the birds. But yeah, I got a fork in my tractor. I kept one the other day, a clean one, just in case. So, okay.
Good deal.
We'll talk to you a little later. We'll try to keep her moving.
Yep, see ya. Got grease. Heading to see Cole. There's his food, his grease gun. We're gonna set it right here so he sees it. Let's call Cooper. Hello. Nothing. I know everyone is good. I just wanted to see and check with him if whatever seed I'm taking to him, that's exactly what he needs, if he needs some pro boxes swapped or not. And Cole is in the phone. Didn't want to interrupt him. So I guess we'll just wait. I got Cole here. Cole, do I need to swap anything out or just take it and go?
Nope, you should be all good to go. I got everything loaded up last night, so you're gonna want that front right one. And that's gonna go on Carol's, and then front left's gonna go on tabletop.
Got it, thank you.
I'm having issues with the dead battery on the sprayer trailer. I'm borderline voltage. When I fire everything up and it surges for its initial draw, it kicks my mixing unit off, the mix-mate off. And so I think my battery's bad on there, so for the time being, I'm just gonna run the battery charger on it so I can at least run. I'm only gonna be able to get like 4 loads done today, so it's not the end of the world if I have to use the battery pack. It's just I kind of want to get going. So
good luck.
I hope that's the issue anyway.
Here's Cooper calling. Hey Cooper.
Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, yo, yo. Are you ready for some seed?
It's gonna take me probably 30, 45 minutes to get there. So I'd say if you're at the field at 2:15.
Okay.
2:15, I'll be perfect.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.
Alrighty, we'll see you in a little bit.
Sounds good, Cooper. See ya.
We got the sprayer full, and I noticed it was looking a little dry, so I had Roman bring a grease gun, and I hope that this thing is bled. Oh yeah. Spray. Have fun, Roman.
Now I'm in Cooper's truck with a seed tender, corn seed tender, and we're gonna go and deliver some seed. That's the most western farm. That's 10 miles from here, so it will take a little bit to get there. We'll see you in maybe 15-20 minutes.
Since it's just me running sprayer crew today, I'm going to be trucking my loads back and forth with the sprayer. Luckily for us, Uncle Orland's farm, which is the farm we're going to next, is right on the other side of these trees. Otherwise, I'm going to spend a lot of time today driving back and forth, so this will be my view. I put the sprayer away the other day, literally ran it across the field, ran out of, no, I didn't even run out of spray. I had like 10 gallons of spray left when I got done with the field. I folded up, literally drove it straight into the shed, parked it. It's been sitting for a few days. Fill it up, come out to the field, turn it on, pump is not working. How does that make any sense? I'm guessing that my main filter being full of that garbage is maybe my problem. I hope it's my problem. We're gonna try cleaning that out, putting it back in, and see if it goes. Grabbed a bucket of water and a brush. I got the filter cleaned out, got everything put back on. The good news is nobody's angry anymore. We are gonna try to spray.
Just like that, the plans took a different turn because when Cooper started planting a new, not hybrid but number, he started noticing a lot of skipping on his planting monitor, a lot of double seeding. And then that reminded him of that he forgot about readjusting his planter, which he needed to use a different kind of seed plates for this particular seeds. So now we have to replace them. So I'm gonna go and get them. Hopefully they are there in the shop. Bring them over and put them back in. These are the plates. I needed to make sure it's 24 of each set. I counted one, let's count another. Hey Cooper.
Hey, did you get my text on that part number?
Yes. So I have 3 sets here, but they don't have that part number on them.
I've been sitting in the sprayer for 3 hours messing with this. Called Jordan the Haggy guy. He's having me do some stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try turning it on. And then all of a sudden it works. So look at this. Look. Look. Okay, we're good to go now. Woo!
An update on the hunt for parts. The Cornstar Farms doesn't have those seat plates, but the good thing is that the neighbor does it, so I'm gonna go there to hopefully find them, because they're just like somewhere in the shop, and hopefully we can get going after that. So we got what we were looking for, which is a great thing. Thank you, dear neighbor, for helping us out. And we can keep going now. We're back. Let's switch those seat plates real quick and get Cooper going.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That didn't look good. I wonder how many drops equates a gallon.
We got a different seat plates, so now we're taking the old ones out. Well, not the old ones, but the ones that we don't need, putting the ones that we want, and Cooper is gonna run the tractor with the only half installed to see if it works, and then if it does, then we'll install the other half, which is 12 and 12. Unfortunately, new seat plates didn't do much improvement. They did help slightly, so we're not quite sure what's the problem. But we're still seeing a little slightest improvement, which I guess we're gonna take it over messy rows, bunch of skips and doubles planted. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the other 12. So the whole unit is using the new other plates that we're gonna install. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking these big plastic mushroom nuts that are holding these plates in place, and then Cooper is putting a little funnel type thing that that helps to divert all the seed that are dumping from this unit here, and diverts it into the bucket, so we're not wasting it. So once this thing is empty, we can put the new plate in and put this wing nut back on.
D-U-N. Done.
Well, Cooper is on his own right now. His goal is to finish that field and move to the closer field right here, which I think he said tabletop would be the next he's gonna try to plant. I'm headed back to Cole's farm, to his house, to drop this tender off, and I get a message from Daddy Cornstar that Zach, he's on the far north farm, tilling, working the ground basically, and he needs fuel, so we'll swap vehicles and go deliver fuel to Zach. And also in the meantime, I probably will check with Cole and see what he's up to. How are you making out?
I'm making out okay. Got 65 acres done all day. No, 105.
That's better.
Yes. So now I just filled up again. So I have like 32 acres left of the next field. So I made a 33-acre batch, and I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna knock that off, and then I'm going to split my monitors out of this sprayer and put it in the other sprayer, because this one's got a pretty bad hydraulic leak. So I'm actually gonna run down to the shop quick and put 5 gallons of hydraulic oil in this, and then we'll get that done. And then once that's done, then I'll probably get 2 more loads off tonight. What are you doing right now?
Gonna go and fuel up Zach. Okay. And then afterwards I can do whatever.
Okay, well that might work perfect. I'm gonna go top this off with hydraulic oil then, and then get that 32 acres across from Zach's house sprayed. Then I'm gonna go down to the main heated shop, if you'd want to pick me up down there, bring me to this, so I can drive this out to the bush farm and drop it off there, then I'll be able to get bush farm done tonight.
Sounds good. Zach is planning to work late into the night, so he'll need much more fuel than he has. So I'm gonna deliver him the fuel in this trailer. But first thing first, I need to make sure that there is enough fuel in there to deliver to him. We're full. We're good to go.
Well, this is ideal. I was able to hook up the air hose into that and hook that up into that gray tank. And now we are full on hydraulic oil. You can see my level right there on the side. We're good now.
All of these farms today, I am just guessing where to go because I've never been to here and just following the directions. So that's why I may sound confident to some, but I may not to other people, which you would be 100% correct. I'm not confident. It is so peaceful right now as the sun sets. Just gorgeous.
So next up we have the farm that is just east of Zach's house. So this is 32 acres over here. It's gonna take us about 20 minutes to get this thing knocked off. Nice square field, one waterway running right up it, right there. Easy, nice and quick.
Zach is ready to go and full of fuel. He's on his way back. We have a rain coming basically 24 hours, so the guys are in rush to get as much done as possible. And this is what I mean by golden hour. Look at this beauty. I just talked to Cole and he said that in 10 minutes he can meet me in main heated shop, which will work just perfectly. Yeah, while the equipment is not operating the best today, we're having some issues, but timing wise, it's been wonderful. We're gonna go and give Cole a ride so he could go and get the semi truck and I guess go from there. We're approaching the dusk hours and not long after that it will be dark.
This has been my view most of the day. You can see the spray coming out. We are putting 15 gallons an acre on right now. This is my monitor. It's got my GPS line. That red line is my auto steer line. So you'll see my rows shut off right there, my nozzles. They're gonna start turning on again here in a second once it hits the gray. Boom, that is egg leader right spot kicking in. So we are just making our last little pass right now across the field. A little bumpy through here. Dad's already planted this, so I'm dealing with his planter tracks, and then it was also ripped and then worked. So there we go. We are now done. Voila. It looks like the neighbor's driving by in his planter. Boogity, boogity, boogity. My oil leak is getting worse and worse, and I have 110 acres that I would like to do tonight. I guess my oil level is still pretty good, but I've already let the machine cool down and I pulled the monitor and globe. So we're gonna stick it on the other sprayer, and then we're gonna head over to the bush farm. Roman's gonna bring me over to the semi. We're gonna bring the semi out there, then we'll come back here, get the sprayer, and then I won't have to road time, because I have to road like 5 miles each time to fill that, even though it's literally only half a mile away, right across the creek behind me. But you have to take the road all the way around, and so it's slow. It's just after 11 p.m. I have 46 acres left over here on the bush farm, so this is pretty cool. I can come into the Mixmate app, and I want to do a 700-gallon load, which should be about just over 46 acres at 15 gallons an acre. And then look at this. It already calculates everything exactly what I need. I'll press that button right there. I'll turn on my pump, and then it will pull everything through here in the dark for me. So pretty stinking slick. And then it'll also shut off once it hits 686 gallons of water and 13 gallons of product. And then I don't have to worry about overfilling, because I really can't see in my tank right now.
I don't know what time it is. I'll tell you what time it is. 11:55 p.m. I'm tired. I want to get home. I want to take a shower. Just brought the semi back over here. Cooper just took off out of the driveway. He's gonna go plant some more yet tonight. It's starting to get cold. It's getting damp. I want to get in the heated house. I want to get in the warm shower. I actually want to get him to my warm bed. Oh, you can see how dark it is around here, that's for sure. Ah, let's head on home, guys. I don't know if you can see all them lights straight ahead. That's Cooper heading to the field. He's got a 100-acre field he wants to plant yet tonight.
We got it done. It's midnight. I'm tired. We're at the shop. It's actually not midnight. It's 12:40 in the morning. Cooper is still out planting. He's going to get tabletop done tonight yet. He's probably got 2 hours left there, I would guess, at least. So Cooper's gonna have a pretty long day, and I've got a, what are we, 16-hour day, 17-hour day, something like that. Dad quit about an hour ago. So what is that? Oh boy, I got a math. We had 78 man hours today between all of us. So that is $1,560 in labor expense. So we'll add that to our expenses. I got 5 hours of sleep, so we're at least not a walking zombie anymore. We'll definitely sleep good once this gets done, but name of the game, get the seed in the ground, get everything done, then while it's raining and windy, our crop can be growing, and then we can sleep then. It's not like we're doing this every day for months on end. It's a short period of time, so we're making hay while the sun shines. Dad's got about 250 acres of soybeans left to plant with that planter. His seed tender right now is empty, so I'm going to bring him over. No, I think he's got some in his seed tender. I'm gonna bring him out to the field. You know what? This is where the 5 hours of sleep comes into play. I don't remember what he said. I'm gonna follow him. That way I don't make a mistake on where I'm going. It's either we're gonna bring the seed tender out into the field, we'll bring it back to the planter so we can bring the planter out there and then he has seed and then he can start planting, or we're gonna help him load this with new seed, bring it out to the field, and then come back and get the planter. Either way, we're giving him a ride. It appears Dad has seeds. We are picking him up out of the field. Welcome to Zach's. All right, good luck.
Yeah, hopefully everything goes good, but try to figure out which one you want for Roman to load next on that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Since Cooper ran pretty late last night, he's sleeping for a couple hours. While he's sleeping, I'm gonna rob his GPS globe off the top of the 340 and I'm gonna put it in the Ranger because we have one field that the maps are not correct on, so I'm going to go finish those maps because once I get done with that, then Cooper should be up and then he's gonna go plant that field. Oh, I think I put this step right here. Now we need to rob the monitor from inside of this sprayer. Okay, she unhooked. Oh, perfect. There we go. Now we have flat screen television while we drive the Ranger. What more could a guy ask for?
Good morning, everyone. We're back at the farm trying to get all the planting done. I arrived here, everyone is working. Cooper gets his much needed sleep. He was running late last night. And we're pretty hopeful that we might be able to get real close to being able to plant everything, or even be able to plant everything if nothing breaks, if it's not gonna start raining sooner or whatever. So we're trying to do our best. I already received my first order for today. When I arrived here, I received a text from Zach. He needs a little grease gun adapter. It's a 90-degree adapter so you can get to the fitting to grease it, and that's what he said. If you get some time, could use a grease gun and a 90-degree grease gun fitting adapter on top of red toolbox. I see it now. It was on the workbench. So yeah, you put your grease gun here and then it gives you ability to get around the corners better. So that's what Zach needs. Then I've heard from Cole that Daddy Cornstar will need more seed here shortly, so I'll have to load the seed tender with a new Pro Box, black box, and deliver it to him. Let's go take this to Zach, and then we'll see what happens next.
Welcome to Bill's farm. Well, this half is Bill's, and then the other half is Kristen and Rusty's. It's a half a square mile wide by an entire mile long, and it used to be divided right in the middle, and now it's one big farm. we did a bunch of fence work on this farm, ripped out the old fences. We did some leveling off with the bulldozer, or Ron, the bulldozer guy, did. And so now I need to come in here onto this map, and I'm gonna delete all of this, and then I have to redrive the entire edge of the field, so that way we know what zones we have designated as within the field and what zones are designated outside of the field. So that way all of our automatic shutoffs work on the planter and the sprayers. So I'm guessing this is probably gonna take me about 90 minutes. This is, it's not fun deleting these.
Welcome to my creep van. Yeah, that's the van that we drive around. It needs a little driving, you know, to keep in shape. So that's what we do. Just drive this thing around. We're going to deliver that piece to Zach. It's one of the far north farms from here. And then after that, get seed delivered to Daddy Cornstar. I've been calling him like 4 times, he didn't respond. Because seed for him is more important than the little piece for Zach. Zach can wait. But since Daddy Cornstar is not responding, we're just gonna run that piece to Zach so he has it. And then in the meantime, maybe Daddy Cornstar will return the phone call. There is Zach on the horizon, hiding behind the hill. Let's give Zach a call, see where he wants his piece.
Hey, Roman.
Hey Zach, where would you like your adapter? I mean, if you don't mind, pull up here, then I can wait.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll be up there in just a second.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, thanks, Roman.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that'll work.
I wiped it off for you. This is a rental farm. The farm that Cornstar Farms renting from Zach's dad. Nice little house that they're gonna tear down. Something about farmers and houses. Farmers don't like trees and houses. They like tearing down both of them, trees and houses. Here's an update on Daddy Cornstar. He texted me that he'll pretty soon empty out the entire seed tender, and that's when I can come and pick it up. I asked him if he needs help with loading his planter, and he said no, I should not need any help unloading the front. I have it down to science, LOL. I'll let you know when I get it emptied out. So we'll be just waiting for Daddy Cornstar to let us know, and that's when I can go and take care of him. And while that, I'll just come back to Zach and be nosy around him. Did you run this thing too hard or what?
She's had a workout the last 3 days.
She didn't scream stop before it gave out the bearing?
Well, the parts are somewhere out there. It wasn't like that this morning, so somewhere in the last 32 acres over there, she came apart.
This is why it's important to grease the equipment. A, it makes it work longer. B, you can inspect the parts as you grease them. That's what happened now. Zach greased it, inspected it, and he found a problem. Yeah, it's amazing what little lubrication will do. Instantly makes it night and day difference. I wish we had a little stubby wrench. You could just start spinning the basket like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was higher.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's all the way up.
I was really focused, but I got it remapped. So now we are back here at the main heated shop. We're gonna give Cooper the globe that I have up on top here, put it on the 340, and then he's gonna go plant the field that I just mapped.
Off he goes. Zach is on his way, already in the field. Keep doing great work. And everyone is hungry now, so I'm gonna get orders for food, what guys want, and head to the grocery store to get the food.
Since I robbed the GPS receiver that had RTK GPS on it, so sub 1 inch accuracy, I got that slapped back up here. So now Cooper's planter's all ready to go. Well, Kind of. He's ready from a GPS perspective, but I did pull the files off of the other monitor that I had in the Ranger. Let me pull it out of my pocket here. I got it out on a USB stick, so we're gonna have to download this USB stick onto Cooper's monitor. Normally we would have these on a Wi-Fi connection where they go up to a satellite and then it would ping all the information back down just like internet would, but I don't know where our little receivers are, so we're having to do it the old-fashioned way, the way the cavemen originally did it, with USB sticks. But before we can do that, we need to pull the tractor outside so that way we can get satellite signal. But if we look in here nice and close, we don't have an oil filter, which is right there, and we have a bunch of drained oil beneath the tractor. The engine in this tractor is ruined. There is liners on the inside of the engine that separate the coolant side of the engine from the oil side of the engine. And I guess those liners are kind of known on this here tractor for going bad, and lo and behold, one of them leaked, coolant got into the oil, then you lose the lubricity of the oil, then you get metal on metal contact, and then the engine goes bad. So we've already changed the oil once this year. This is going to be the second change since planting corn. And basically our goal is to keep changing the oil so that way we can keep the tractor going to get done with corn planting. So change the oil to try to make it where the engine's not going to seize up on itself so we can get done with corn planting. And then once we're done with corn planting, this is going to go into the shop and it is going to get a new engine inside of it. So the damage is already done. Right now it's just a matter of how long can we keep it going by trying to keep the oil as fresh as we can. If you ever pull out your engine oil filter and it looks like that, then no es bueno. Cooper's gonna put some new engine oil back in the tractor, get the filter on. I'm going to take a look at the planter right now. There is a grease zerk. Every single row has two, so one right here, one right here. These are for the gauge wheels, so this is gonna pivot, so I'm gonna grease those. And then this black thing underneath, I'm gonna feel underneath there, and I'm gonna make sure that the seed tube is still intact. And I'm also gonna make sure that the piece of metal that protects the seed tube, thing that's making this noise, that's also intact as well. I don't know how well you can see up inside there, but this is the piece of metal that protects the seed tube, and then that piece of plastic, that big tube behind it, right there, that is the seed tube. So this is why we do what we're doing here. Get into position. If we look down in, so we got the frog, and then we got our seed tube. See how this one's got a big chunk out of the side of it? Well, what's gonna happen, the seed's gonna fall down, and it can hit that, and then it can bounce. And then that would affect where it's being placed underground. So I think we might have to replace this seed tube right here.
We got our food now. I need to deliver it everywhere. But also, I got more requests. I need to stop by at the parts store and get stuff for the planter. I also need to get stuff out of Cooper's truck, which is the grease gun and some coolant there. Get that, deliver it to the main heated shop, and then go get Daddy's Cornstar seed tender and swap it out with the new seed, full boxes, and it's all needed to be done in timely manner. So a lot of logistical tasks to figure out, but seems like it's gonna work out seamlessly. At least I hope so.
So Roman's going to be bringing 2 new seed tubes. We found one that was bad and we found one that was, we're gonna replace it while we're here. So now I'm also waiting on grease, but I'm gonna check these gauge wheels. If I can spin them and they free spin, they're too loose. We need to take out a washer, make them a little tighter. But like this, that's probably borderline. We're gonna roll with it for today. I just wanna be able to hear it touching that blade, but if it just keeps spinning, we're gonna tighten it up. Oh, yeah, got another one. I think what we need to do right now says it's 276.59 acres. We are going to clear this Okay, so now he has absolutely no mapping. I'm gonna reach into the old pocket, pull out the USB card or stick. Come on. Should be able to plug this guy right into the side. And we can go like this, data transfer. We are going to import a setup. And now when we go to our boundary, voila, 278.88, we got the new one. You're good to go. We always try to make sure we pay special attention to everything that's going on the planter, because the planter pass is the most important pass we are going to do all year. What we establish the seed as when it's set in the ground with the planter is what it's going to be. So if we put it in a way that compromises how the seed is going to grow, that's going to affect us all season. So we want the planter to be as 100% as we can possibly make it, because we want each seed planted at the same depth and the same space away from each other, and then covered with the same amount of dirt. So that way they all have the same likelihood of coming out of the ground at the same time. Corn is highly competitive with each other, so if one comes out of the ground before the other one, it basically does a runt of the litter effect, and the one that comes out of the ground first will rob substantially more nutrients from the other plant, and then the other plant will just get smaller and smaller as the season goes. So the further the gap distance between the first one coming out of the ground and the last one coming out of the ground, the worst. So we want them all to come out at the same time. Cooper is planting corn.
We got seed for Daddy Cornstar. Actually, it worked out perfect because he said, I was getting tired, and I dropped off the lunch for him, so he was able to stop and eat. And now he has seed. He's gonna get full again and keep going. And the only person that hasn't eaten is Zach, so we're gonna go and deliver food for him. Maybe help with whatever he needs. Day is going good. Hey Zach, are you ready to eat?
Yeah, I haven't eaten in 4 days.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm here if you can pull up. Poor guy was starving all this time. Are you gonna be good on fuel till done?
As long as the sky stays clear.
Oh, look at that cheeky little fella. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, that's too bad.
The problem that we ran into earlier was that the seed box that I brought for Daddy Cornstar was not full. And we have a full pallet of bags that we'll have to, I guess, either dump it in the empty box, bring it here, or bring it into the bags. We'll figure it out, but now I have to bring the seed tender back to the main farm, or Cole's farm, and he'll be waiting for me there, and we'll figure out what would be the best option to do. So swapping vehicles again.
Oh, this is actually going to work out pretty good today because it's too windy for me to spray, so I can keep helping Cooper. We have some odd partials on some of these seed boxes. Last year, I accidentally over-ordered some seed, and so we opened the boxes, and once you open a box, you can't send them back. So they've been sitting in the big machine shed all year until now. And so when these are full, they'll do like 115 acres, but some of them have partials. They're like 20% full. So Cooper's doing end rows with the partial boxes, which means I can't really go anywhere too long anyhow, because Cooper can plant 30 acres an hour, and when he has 25 acres of seed on him, he's going to be empty in 50 minutes. So we are going to help Roman. Roman is Dad's seed tender boy or man?
Guy.
Dad's seed tender guy, and they have one box left, and it's in the form of bags right now. So we're going to unload the bags into a box. This is 34 bags. I don't know how, whatever 34 times 48 is, that's how heavy this is. It's full of seed. We're going to slap the lid on right now, and then this will be ready to go out to Dad. We are apparently 100 acres short on soybean seed. So either we didn't order enough or we didn't get everything that we ordered. I need to go through all of those just to double check to make sure that they're all actually empty. That'd be kind of embarrassing if we ordered new seed and then come to find out we had 2 boxes that were still half full. Yep, they're all empty.
Good job. Looks like Daddy Cornstar is quite busy with something or somebody on the phone. So I can start the process, I guess, at least get everything set up for him.
Of the Champion soybeans loaded up. Typically we get the bags when we have a less than a full box worth. So in the case of the bags, we had 34 units instead of 45 being in a full box. So same thing with the corn. I'm sitting on, I think this is 30 bags of corn, and we need to get this loaded up into a Pro Box because Cooper is going to get this planted. This is Champion Seeds 115 day. This is 65 A23. Oh, these bags are a lot heavier and a lot more expensive. One of these bags is about $300. Fun fact. And there's 30 of them here. So $9,000 worth of seeds sitting on this pallet. Gotta get them all out. We're making perfect timing. Cooper just called. He said he is just about out of seed. We're gonna go meet him in the driveway over at Kristen and Rusty's, so that way we can minimize his downtime. We don't want him waiting on us. We want to be waiting on him, so that way we can keep him moving as much as possible. They're talking rain tomorrow, well, at 5 o'clock in the morning, so we're gonna try to run as long as we absolutely can to get as much done as we can. I'm hoping we can run till it rains, and then it's gonna be close. Sounds like Cooper's been having some issues with the planter, just little wires he's had to get out and unplug, plug back in, and his GPS was messing with him, so it set him back probably 2 hours, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. It happens. But if we could get done, we would really like to. I apologize for the lack of filming. It is just too windy to set the camera up. It will blow over. Cooper asked me if I could put in some stuff in the boxes for him. We're trying a biological seed additive, and it's got some zinc and some other things that go right on the seed in powder form, and the wind's coming right at you and it stinks. It smells like dead animal. So he said, hey, you can go home and change. I can't. Could you put it in for me? So I put it on, and that's what you see on my shirt. It's that stinky material, but it's gonna be good to be on the seed, because when it's on the coating of the seed, when the little root comes out, then boom, those roots can grab it, pull it right in, and so it's got some extra nutrients right off the get-go. So we made a 60-acre batch on Cooper with that stuff in it, and so he's gonna run this off over here on these really nice long rows over at Kristen and Rusty's. This is a Champion seed we're planting right now. This is a Champion, I think it's 62B23. This is 112 day, am I right? Nope, 62B21. This is where we have to keep track a little bit. This is one we ordered this year, and this is one we had as extra from last year. So they're both 62B21, but the thing is, they're not the exact same seed. They may be the same hybrid, but they're slightly different sizes. I don't want to plant 2 different size seeds at the same time because they don't act the same when they're underground. So we kind of have to split up the boxes a little bit and plant the one that's the same weight and shape of seed, because they're gonna be slightly different. Even if they're both medium rounds, they're both gonna be just a little bit different. And so we'll plant the one, get it done, and then we'll plant the other one. And then we will be out of our overrun seed.
Here we are, got our seed delivered, and that's gonna be enough for us to finish the soybean planting. And that's the goal that Cole has for tonight before the rain comes. We're going to arrange it, take the empty box right here, taken off, and put these 2 on the tender, so it's all ready to go and use for him at his discretion. Cole actually right now is helping Cooper, loading him with seed, so hopefully by the time he is back I can do this for him and it's all ready to go.
in with one truck, we're getting in another. We were 100 acres short on soybeans for whatever reason. I totally miscalculated when we were purchasing seed. And so neighbor Ryan, who graciously let us use his Challenger tractor both last fall and this spring, got a hold of him, and he had 100 units, 140 units that he would let us buy. So we got 100 treated units, and then there's 40 untreated units. So the 100 treated units, so they're colored, that is going to get us pretty stinking close to being done. Then we may need like 5 units out of the other one. So we got those loaded up right now. Roman unloaded the guy. Dad has a full seed tender. We're gonna bring it out to him. He's on the last soybean field, and it's just about dark. Rain's coming in 8 hours. And there's 130 acres there, and we can do approximately 20 acres an hour. So it's gonna be cutting it down to the wire. Dad's gonna run fairly late, and then I'm gonna swap him out, and I'm going to run until we get that field done or until it rains, whichever comes first. Hopefully we get it done, but we're gonna do our best to get done with soybeans tonight, or this morning, however you wanna look at it. Hello, Dad. He literally ran out after we'd been here for 5 minutes, so perfect timing. We typically plant a different hybrid or a different variety in every single field that we farm, and we do that to mitigate the risk, because sometimes a specific hybrid or variety on that year with the weather conditions we had or the fertility in that field, sometimes it really likes it and it does extremely well, and sometimes it doesn't like it at all and it falls flat on its face. So it's not uncommon to see a 50 bushel difference from one hybrid to another, especially on a more strained year, like if it's really dry or really hot. So we spread out our risk by planting different hybrids or varieties on every field, so then if one does bad, then you have more that potentially don't, because it's not likely that they're all going to do poorly. When I was younger, we usually just did like 2, maybe 3, and so if one of them fell on his face, it kind of stunk, because that was potentially 50% of your corn crop was a hybrid that just didn't respond very well that year. About 9:30 right now, and we're filling up the planter, gonna get this field done tonight. We wanna do it for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, if we get the field done, we'll be done with soybeans. We wanna get done planting soybeans. Reason number 2, which is the more important reason, every day after March 1st, we lose 1 potential bushel of soybean yield. And they're talking rain tomorrow, then a day of wind, and then another day of rain. If we get the rain that they're projecting us to get, it's gonna take us out of the field for another week, which is gonna push us to May 1st. And then once we hit May 1st, if the weather's not favorable, then it could push us back even further. So in an effort to try to maximize our profits this year, we're trying to get these in the ground right now. That way we can maximize yield potential and hopefully have these soybeans perform really well. So it's important that we get these done tonight because of that. Okay, we need to turn on some lights around here so that way we can see. So here's a couple. That's a little better. Now we can see here in the seed shed. But out here, we can't see anything right now. Okay, I take that back. We can see things, we just can't see very well. Pero say hello to my little friend. Check this out. We already had light over here. Look at this. By the way, we got these lights from Northwest Lighting Systems. We talked to Drew, or was it Derek? Either one of them. If you want to get some for yourself, give Drew or Derek a call. Put the link down in the description below. Super nice people. They also put the lights in here. We're big fans. I need to take that back right tote off and put that one we just dumped all the bags of seeds into on. That is probably where we are going to get to on corn planting tonight. So everything that's on the seed tender right now, I would imagine, is probably going to fulfill most of what Cooper is going to get planted. We might have to get into some of those bags We'll see. One thing we always have to remember to do when we're filling up boxes that were empty and then putting something new in them, we need to cut the label off of the thing that we put in there so that way it matches. This was Champion 58A21, but we put in Champion 65A23 inside of it. If some unsuspecting person came up and started emptying the seed onto the planter, they would think they're putting Champion 58A21. It would get inputted into the monitor like that, and then for the rest of the year, that's what we would think it would be, which would be incorrect. So we're just gonna take out that old label, not logo, and put this one in. Perfect. Figured since we're talking rain, might as well get some equipment put away while I'm waiting here. But Cooper just texted he needs seed again. We got Cooper loaded up with all the seed that he needs, so we're gonna leave this here and let him keep running. Zach's gonna bring me over to Mary Lou's because I need to get the truck, and then we'll also bring Dad fuel in a little bit. Oh, brr. We've secured the goods. We also pulled the sprayers inside because, well, it's supposed to storm, and I don't know if we're gonna be putting the planters down here or in the big machine shed. So we put the sprayers in here. If they wanna move them out to put the planters in, they can, but at least they're in here. Now we need to hook up this fuel trailer, and I need to pull forward. And then it sounds like Dad, he was under half a tank earlier. He was at half a tank, and so now he's probably considerably well under half a tank. And he also needed some Allen wrenches, which I grabbed. It's the annoying thing about trying to hook up a truck when you're pointed down a hill, because when you put it in park, then the truck rolls. I'm getting bombed by text messages. It's midnight. What's everybody texting me for? Oh yeah, we are perfect now. Oh. Perfect. Oh, I need both hands. We are going to fill Cooper with diesel fuel first. We filled him this morning, and now we're gonna fill him again, and we're gonna make sure he doesn't run into the front of the truck. We topped Cooper off. He is good to go for the rest of the night when it comes to fuel. Oh man, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They even made some food for us. So, got some styrofoam containers. Ate. I just took a little hour nap. Just woke up to some lights coming in the window. Dad, it's up here. Oh, Dad is now full of seed. My seed tender is empty. And big shout out to Dad. He's got 79 acres done over here. The farm's 130. Dad wants to run for just a little while longer and then call it a night. He's getting pretty tired. So I told him, Dad, I can run the planter. This planter's kind of got a mind of its own, so Dad just is concerned that if I run it, something's gonna go haywire on me and it's just not going to work. So he just doesn't have that piece of just putting me in it. I've literally never ran this planter before, and Dad never ran the planter while Grandpa was alive because of those reasons. It was just finicky. But I told Dad, well, why don't we just run a little bit longer? If you need to, you can take a nap, and then I can run it. We are so close to being done. We are 60 acres away, and the rain's supposed to be coming in 3 hours. So if we can just get it done, we've already came this far. So I gave him a little pep talk. So I'm hoping he gets the second wind or a third wind, and just wants to get this done so we can just be done. By getting done tonight, it'll literally put us a week ahead of just getting this planter ready, get everything all cleaned up, checked over. If stuff needs to be worked on it, it's going to give us an extra week. So if we could get done tonight, that would honestly be ideal. It's 3:43 in the morning. Dad's eyes are a little heavy, so he said I can run the planter for a little bit, I guess. I've never done this before in this planter. Going back and forth for a while. It is 6:01 in the morning. We've officially ran all night. I'm on a 23-hour day right now. We have 9 acres left. It is from right where we are right now over to that telephone pole is where we need to go. We are getting there. Probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We'll be there. 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 We'll 40 minutes left and then we'll be done. I don't know how much more perfectly timed we can get than literally when I got done, it started to rain. We are officially 100% done planting our soybeans. Soybeans are done. Cooper got done at Bill's and Kristen and Rusty's, so we have one cornfield left to plant, which is starting to rain now. It looks like it's going to be kind of an off and on drizzle for a little while. I don't know how much rain we're supposed to get from this, but it's too damp to go finish planting that last field, so we're going to have to wait till it dries up before we get there. I would say that we made a good decision. Yes, we did. Ooh, it's coming down nice. Okay, in the dry. Working in the house. Oh, Dad, Cooper, and I all had 24-hour shifts each. Then with Zach and Roman, we had 99 man hours today. So we spent $1,980 in labor. Add that on to whatever our season expenses are so far. I don't know what that is off the top of my head right now. But I do know that we have made zero income on the farm so far this year. Okay, I'm going to bed. I would like to apologize. When we planted all night on beans, we got done, I slept till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The next day, it rained all day. And the next day, it rained all day. Then it was dry for a day, dry for a day, and then it would rain. Dry for a day, dry for a day, then it would rain. And we still had some ground that we needed to get sprayed before our soybeans came out of the ground, because once they're out of the ground, we have to completely change up the chemistry that we are using, and it's not as effective. And the 2 fields that we had to spray had the highest weed pressure of all of our fields, so we really wanted to get them sprayed if we could. Well, we had about a 12-hour window where conditions were maybe just fit enough, and so we took the opportunity to jump in there, because looking at the 10-day, they were talking for that inch of rain, dry for 2 days, inch of rain, dry for 2 days, and we were not going to get back into the field, and then you tossed wind in between there. So I left the camera at home, and I had a 12-hour window to get those fields sprayed, and I got it done just a couple hours before the rain came in. And while I was doing that, the co-op guys came down with 2 sprayers, and they sprayed 1,000 acres of corn with our 32% and a residual. So same thing with all the corn ground Cooper got planted. We don't want that to poke through before we get our nitrogen on, because otherwise the nitrogen will burn it right down to the ground, and then we could potentially have to come in and replant, or it would really hinder our crop. So we had a pretty tight little window there, and we were all busy, so I apologize for not getting that filmed. And then Cooper, right on the back end of that, came in and planted our last cornfield. So now we are done with soybean planting, we are done with soybean spraying, we are done with corn spraying, we are done with corn planting, and Zach got all of the tillage done ahead of Cooper and the corn planter. So we got everything done.